Good morning. I am Lacey Beaty, the very lucky mayor of Beaverton, Oregon. My husband, Major Beaty, who's an active duty National Guard officer, is at home with our two daughters, and he just sent me a photo of them in the morning. It's a good reminder of what we're doing here today about our young people. The vice mayor, my daughter, the 6-year-old, was really excited. She was hoping to see me on TV. Normally she watches me on public access. So this is a bit of an elevation from that. So I appreciate everyone being here today. I've seen a need and an urgent action to talk about climate change. In Beaverton in 2020, the skies were red due to a devastating forest fire that engulfed our region. My perspective has shifted that year, as it did for many Oregonians, on the real effect that climate change would have on our lives. The following year, Beaverton endured an unprecedented heat dome, with temperatures reaching nearly 120 degrees. Many members of our community did not have access to air conditioning, putting their health and well-being at risk. I remember laying in bed as a mom looking at Facebook, as when moms do at 4 in the morning when they can't sleep. And I started getting instant messages from other moms that were saying their landlords were asking them to take out their window air conditioning unit during this heat dome. Portland, our neighbor, was experiencing high deaths in public buildings. We didn't do anything to not have deaths in our community. We just got very lucky. So I went to the office as the mayor. I sat down with our staff and I said, what can we do, right? There's got to be a building code. There's got to be something. What do we do? Well, it turns out the state of Oregon, as a renter, you do not have access to air conditioning. You had access to heat. Oregon is typically known for our cooler weathers. We've never experiencing something in the 120 degrees. So I went to work with other levels of government. We changed that state law last year and the governor signed it in as an Oregonian now. I say that's important, but it really, when I became mayor, I didn't think I'd have to be in our state house changing building codes. So people had bare necessities like eating and air conditioning. And while I'm very proud of that legislation, I'm very proud that the governor signed it, and I was very proud to build the coalition to do it. Imagine what a tenacious mayor could have done if I wasn't focusing on climate-related emergencies. Like, we could have been building more pipes in schools and infrastructure and bridges and all the things we're talking about here today. So that I think is really important. Oregon has witnessed years of persistent drought. Yes, in a state where rain falls out of the sky every day, we are actually in a drought. Beaverton has prioritized water resiliency, while many of the cities in our state can't. We are investing in underground storage wells, aquifer storage wells. We're fortifying our pipes. We sit on a Cascadia subduction zone with the largest earthquake fault lines, and most of our infrastructure will not withstand a Cascadia level event. That's why the IRA is helping us do so much of the good work we do. We know people in emergency situations that face climate or natural disasters, they often die of lack of access to resources. So that's why it's important that mayors like me focus on the pipes underground, but our budgets are not going to allow it. That's why I'm really proud to partner with the federal administration that values cities. Cities are a level of government of last resort. We're the ones in front of the cameras when things go wrong. We're the ones talking to the community and consoling them and encouraging them and doing that. I love our state reps and our senators. They get to sit in our Salem, our capital, and do great work about bills in the future. But mayors are the boots on the ground that have to lead during crisis. It's crucial to acknowledge that these environmental challenges have only escalated since I took office. And without actions, they will continue to worsen for the foreseeable future. And yes, climate change creates security implications. At local levels, the repercussions of climate change are directly affecting the health and prosperity of our community members. Extreme weather events, heat fires, and wildfires pose a very significant risk to our resiliency and well-being. When we had that heat dome, when it hit 120 degrees, people were buying air conditioning and selling them third market for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. You couldn't drive an 8-hour radius out of Oregon to buy an air conditioner that year. And so that has a huge impact on people's finances. Like, where you live, how much money you make should not determine in America if you live or die. It's so important that we start thinking about these on a larger scale. On a global scale, climate change exacerbates conflicts and displaces communities. It's essential for us to recognize that climate-related crises can have far-reaching impact to our national security and stability as a country. The United States and its allies currently rely heavily on nations that don't necessarily align with our values for vital resources. Reducing our dependence on foreign energy sources is the only way to help our economy be self-sufficient, but it's also a crucial step towards safeguarding our national security. I often talk about national security as hand in hand with what we're doing, and people look at me kind of crazy, but as a veteran of the Iraq War, I know firsthand what people do for natural resources. I've seen it in not only my combat days, but now as the mayor, I realize how incredibly important it is that we focus on things like that. We should be doing things like the Inflation Reduction Act. As a mayor, I worked with the president and his team to bring money home to Beaverton during COVID. We can be trusted by the president to deliver on the ground. So that's why you see so many mayors excited about the Inflation Reduction Act, because we know how to put money to work right away. No one knows my community better than me, I guarantee it. I go to the grocery store, they find me. I go to the park, they find me. I drop my daughter off at school, they find me. And I hear the stories about the roads that need to be built, our bridges that are disastrous shape. And even in our city that is rated really high in the Northwest for our roads look really awesome and great. We're starting to lack the resources to maintain them when we're fighting things like COVID and wildfires and heat and emergency. Prosperous future for all Americans and my daughters, the vice mayor and the vice mayor of Beaverton. Thank you.